joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Simple Science, which is full of information related to PhD and research career. And today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is preparation of PhD admission. And today we have a very special guest, and I share a very special bond with him, uh, Professor Chiranjoy sir. Before I start anything, I want to introduce him. He holds a PhD degree from IIT Madras, and his research work focuses on content-based video retrieval. After that, after completing his PhD, he joined as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Jodhpur. And Chiranjoy sir is currently working as associate professor in the School of Computing and Data Sciences at Flame University, Pune. His area of research is actually varies across the spectrum of machine learning and AI, which includes document image processing, game studies, augmented reality, virtual reality, and many more, like medical image analysis. However, his contribution towards the document image processing is truly remarkable. And I share a very special bond with him, because when I joined as a PhD student, sir was there in the institute, and I took two courses under him. That was, I remember, computer graphics and deep learning and neural networks. Yes, I remember. And he is the reason behind my interest towards the neural networks and deep learning area. So I heartily welcome you, sir. Thank you very much for accepting my interview request. I can't express my feelings in words how much happy I am today. So thank you so much, sir. So before we proceed to our discussion, मैं एक छोटा सा एक किस्सा मुझे याद आ रहा है सर. मैं बिल्कुल नया नया आया था, एंड माय फर्स्ट कोर्स वाज कंप्यूटर ग्राफिक्स. एंड आई वाज वेरी स्केयर्ड, बिकॉज वो मेरा पहला एक्सपीरियंस था एट एनी आईआईटी. मैं इससे पहले किसी आई वाज नेवर बीन टू एनी इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस लाइक आईआईटी. सो आई रिमेम्बर आप 8 बजे क्लास लेते थे, एंड आवर हॉस्टल वाज क्वाइट away from the institute when we were in the temporary campus. And एक बार मुझे just third या fourth lecture था when we started our course. So मुझे बुखार था, और मैं इतना डरा हुआ था कि मुझे लग रहा था कि अगर मैं if I miss the class, my supervisor will be very angry at me. So उस दिन फीवर की वजह से मुझे exactly 7:50 पे मेरी नींद खुली, and I was like कि आज तो मर गए today I'll be killed. And I just took auto rickshaw, और मैं पहुंचा 8:10 पे सर, और आपने मुझे भगा दिया क्लास से. तो आपने बोला join us in the next class, and I was like my supervisor will definitely come to know. And और वो हुआ भी सर, वो हुआ भी. My supervisor met you during the lunch, and you told him that today I have expelled him from the class. उसके बाद सर उन्होंने मुझे 3 बजे बुलाया, और उसके बाद he told me, like you imagine, मैं ऑलरेडी इतना डरा हुआ था. I was so scared that how I will survive in this institute, because parallelly I was taking the course from the course of Professor Harit, Professor Gaurav Harit. That was itself a very huge course. So अब क्या हुआ कि सर ने बोला शाम को मुझे कि मुझे नहीं लगता कि ज्यादा दिन, आई डोंट थिंक यू विल बी हियर फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम. मुझे कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा तुम्हारे बारे में. और सर उस दिन मुझे रात भर नींद नहीं आई थी. एंड अरे एंड दैट वाज क्वाइट फनी. अभी याद करते तो फनी लगता है, बट उस टाइम तो मेरी हालत बिल्कुल खराब थी. मुझे लग रहा था कि पैसे भी गए और इज्जत भी गई. एंड आई
आई
वाज
थिंक ये तुम्हारे अकेले के साथ नहीं हुआ होगा. आई थिंक तुमने देखा भी होगा कि
हाँ
जो
यस.
स्टूडेंट लेट आते थे सबके साथ ही ऐसा हुआ है.
हाँ यस सर, यस सर.
तो तुम ऐसा अकेले नहीं थे.
हाँ यस सर, बट
जो
मैं
लोग आई
मतलब
थिंक
मैं पहला था,
लेट आते
मतलब
थे.
लाइक आई वॉज द फर्स्ट. बट ये थोड़ा मतलब मेरे मैं जो सोच रहा था वो शाम तक हो गया था, मतलब लाइक व्हाट आई वाज थिंकिंग दैट आई एम गोइंग टू गेट एक्सपेल्ड फ्रॉम द इंस्टीट्यूट. तो वो शाम को सर ने बोला था मुझे.
पर
So,
अल्टीमेटली ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं है ना.
नहीं सर, उसके बाद आई वॉज वेरी सीरियस कि अब बुखार हो चाहे जो हो, क्लास नहीं छूटना चाहिए बिल्कुल भी. एंड
हाँ, और
इवन
इसके बाद से तुम कभी लेट भी नहीं हुए.
यस सर, नेवर नेवर. सो दैट वाज क्वाइट funny. So
फनी.
let's start sir our discussion. So sir, my first question is, what is the ideal time when a student should decide that I should join the PhD? What is the ideal time when a student should start thinking about it?
See, I mean, the ideal time to decide whether you want to pursue PhD or not,
Mm.
in that sense, right? I mean, it's first of all, it's an individual question. Ideal, there is no ideal time in that sense, but there are certain factors, okay, which you can assess yourself and look into that. Okay, if I am able to understand those factors or those factors are in favor of me, then probably that's the right time to do. So, say for example, since we were talking about academics, right? So first thing should be the academic preparation. I mean, are you prepared to do a PhD or not? Because PhD requires or demands a lot from an individual, right? And you also need to have some sort of a research experience prior to doing PhD. And fundamentals should be very clear on the area you want to do your PhD. So from your undergraduate itself, you should be doing those kind of things if you want to do PhD. Or if you have done those kind of things, probably that's the right time you can decide.
Mm.
Second thing could be your what is your aspiration, right? What is your career aspiration? What do you want to be,
Mm.
right? Because it's a long-term thing,
Yes.
and PhD is not necessary for every career. But
Yes.
if your career aspiration is that I want to see myself in these kind of roles and responsibility going forward, then you can pursue PhD. So if that is the requirement that yes, I want to do this, so I will also do a PhD. Another factor that you can think of your passion, right? It has to be something, it should not be a burden on you. You
Yes. Yes.
really, when you have enrolled into a PhD, somebody should not be pushing you that ये अरे करो करो, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, है ना? You should be passionate about that. Yes, I want to do this and I want to pursue it, right? For that, you can talk to professors and so on. Maybe we can subsequently talk about it. Another factor is financial. That is also important, right? For a
Yes,
PhD
sir.
student, looking at the age group, right, where you want to do PhD, finance is especially for say in an Indian context, right?
Mm.
So finance is a very important consideration because the financial implications of pursuing a PhD, right? Whether what is the type of assistance you are going to get, right?
Mm.
Whether it is what sort of fellowship, scholarship, those things are important. So if you can see that yes, it is in favor, I think that's probably the right time you can think of it.
Mm.
And as I said in the beginning, right, it's a personal thing.
Thing. Yes.
So your personal readiness should be there, right? Because you have to consider things like your work-life balance, personal relationship, if you
Mm.
have any other commitments while you are doing your PhD or before you have already committed to do something and now you are into PhD. So your personal life is also part of it, right? You cannot separate it out.
Separated. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes.
so this personal readiness is another factor, I believe, which you also have to think before
Correct.
you actually take the decision. See, I mean, requirement wise, suppose I am in plus two, I want to
Mm.
do PhD. Can I do PhD? No, I have
Mm-hmm.
to have certain degrees, right? Because there are
Mm.
qualification requirements.
Requirements.
So that I am not talking about,
Mm.
right? I should not be saying that yes, after plus two you can do PhD because for PhD you need to have minimum an undergraduate degree.
Mm. Correct.
But what we are discussing now is I am having an undergraduate degree, but am I personally ready? Do I
Mm,
have the academic background? Have I done enough research? Do I know the areas which I want to do PhD? Like, if all the answers to these questions are yes and in a positive direction, I think that is the ideal time,
that is the
because you
yes.
have to take it's a self reflection, right?
Mm,
And gathering information. You have to gather a lot of information because your decision should be an informed decision. You should
correct.
not say that, अरे उसने बताया तो मैंने कर लिया अब आके फंस
हाँ,
गया.
सही बात है.
ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Right? I think if you are in a position where you are eligible,
Hmm.
then if such factors which we talked about are also conducive for you, it's in a positive direction,
Hmm.
probably that is the right time for you to go for PhD.
Yes, sir. Mostly, I've seen that like people decide to go for a PhD because after masters, especially for students from non IIT and NIT background, because mostly they do PhD just because they are not having any good job in hand. And after
Mhm,
masters, mostly they think that they are eligible only for teaching job, because few years back, like 6 7 years back, with the help of master's degree, we job offers were there in the private engineering
okay.
colleges. Even I am the victim of this situation. When I completed my masters, I was working as a teacher in some engineering college, and after
Mhm,
doing 6 months of job, I realized that if I have to join this career in a long term, I need to do PhD and with some quality knowledge. Then that was the time
correct.
when I decided to go for PhD. Like initially, you mentioned that before deciding, talk to professors, like do some
Professor,
research.
yes.
For the students who are from non-IT background, like from private engineering colleges, where PhD students are very less in numbers,
Mhm,
and IIT like research environment is not there. Certainly, we can say that.
mhm, mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
तो उनके लिए थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है उस टाइम पर ये डिसाइड कर पाना, बिकॉज ऑफ द इन्वायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स. So
Mhm,
that is
mhm,
the one of the reasons people join PhD, just because the circumstances
mhm.
कि अभी कोई ऑप्शन
See,
नहीं है,
that
लेट्स गो
is,
फॉर द PhD.
हाँ, उसमें भी आई थिंक थोड़ा सा अगर प्लान्ड वे में करे ना, आई मीन,
हाँ,
सी
करेक्ट.
देयर कैन बी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस कि ये नहीं हो रहा है तो ये करना पड़ेगा. बट
हम्म.
जब कर रहे हैं तो ढंग से करो, थोड़ा
हाँ,
सा
सही बात.
सोच
यस
के
सर.
करो
करेक्ट,
कि
करेक्ट.
आगे जाके वो
हम्म.
तुम्हें फायदा दे.
यस सर, यस सर.
बिकॉज यू आर कमिटिंग अ लॉट, राइट? यू आर कमिटिंग अ लॉट.
Yes, as you rightly said that this is not a degree with fixed time, because it could get extended after 5 years, even like, or depending upon the requirements of the institutes and even requirements of your supervisor.
So for
So,
me also it happened like that, right? I was also, after my masters, I was working with the company, and then after that I decided like, maybe I want to get into, that is not, I mean, probably academics and that kind of environment is more suitable for me. So I wanted to get into that system, and
mhm.
then I joined IIT Madras to do my PhD.
So sir, my next question is, what are your suggestions to the aspirants who are currently preparing for PhD admission, especially those who are targeting the IITs?
Just following up from the first question, right? So now, say someone has decided that yes, I want to do PhD. So now again, I'll and that too, let's say in IIT. Okay, so one of the IITs I want to get into.
Yes.
So again, the first thing one should see, there are two aspects of it. One, since somebody is aspirant, so there are two stages, right? One is getting into an IIT.
Mm.
So first is to clear the entrance test,
Yes, sir.
and then pursue it, continuing it, right? So there are
Mm.
two sides of it. So while somebody is preparing for a PhD,
Yes, sir.
one should take care of both the things, for the
Okay.
entrance as well as for the survival, if I can put it like that.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
first thing is to understand the area of research. Which area
Mm.
one wants to do the research, right? Because identifying a specific area of interest within your chosen field, that is very important.
Mm.
Uh, for that, you can explore, say, various research papers, publications, and understand what is happening in that area. Okay. Now, to do that, as I mentioned in the first question, academic preparation is required. Because if I give somebody or somebody just browses, say, the internet and get a research paper, if sufficient background is not there, nobody will be able to understand that paper, right?
Mm. Correct.
So that is something one need to keep in mind.
Mm.
Which brings me to the next point, which is essentially the academic foundation.
Mm.
So these are all related. So you have to maintain a good understanding of the fundamentals. That is one thing. The other part is you also have to have a very good GPA, right? Your academic score, your
Mm.
CGPA
Correct.
percentage should be very good,
Correct. Correct. Yes, sir.
because without that, you will not be crossing the basic threshold of selection,
Mm.
right? So because you will not be called for interview or entrance exam if you do
Entrance
not have that
examination.
score.
Oh, yes, sir. Correct.
एंट्रेंस एग्जाम में आपको बुलाएंगे ही नहीं कि अगर आपका सीजीपी अच्छा नहीं,
Yes, sir. Even I
है
faced
ना?
that
उस
during like where I applied for IIT Gandhinagar, and my resume was never shortlisted because I was not having the 80% in the masters.
right.
Yes, sir.
So you have to have a very good um CGPA.
Mm.
Academic
Correct.
performance of your UG and PG both should be
Mm.
very good.
Mm.
That is a
Yes,
fundamental requirement.
yes,
Many people have many opinion about it, but I personally believe that CGPA should be good.
good. Yes.
Another important part is before you actually join an institute, you should identify a potential supervisor,
Mm.
right? Because, I mean, an empty page is good to write, but sometimes anything can be written over there, right?
Mm. Correct, sir.
Instead, if you have some faculty member in mind that, yes, I want to work with this person because of
Mm.
XYZ reason. And
Mm.
again, that brings me to the answer to the first question that you had, preparedness, research,
Mm.
right? So when you do the research about institutes, do visit the potential supervisors
Mm.
in your area of interest and send them email. If possible, visit them, take
Mm.
appointment. If not the professors, their students,
Mm. Yes.
you
Correct.
should be desperate, right? It is when you have decided, you should give your 200% to it, saying that I want to do it,
Mm.
whatever it may take me to do it, right? So that passion
Understand. Yes.
should be there,
Mm.
right?
Correct.
Another thing is when you are going to communicate with the potential advisor, on what basis you will talk? हवा में तो बात नहीं हो सकती ना.
हाँ सही बात है. Yes. Correct.
तो उसके लिए you should prepare a strong SOP, statement of purpose, कि मैंने कैसे लिखने में, that can be a separate discussion how to
Good
write
discussion.
a
Yes.
SOP and all, but you should prepare a strong SOP, clearly say that okay, this is what I want to work with you and so on, so that the other side, the professor also finds it interesting to read your email to discuss with you, because most of the time you don't get a reply from a professor,
Hmm.
right? So that is also something which you should keep in mind. Sometimes they also require recommendation letters, so that also you should keep in mind that yes, application के टाइम पे शायद recommendation letter देना पड़े, तो मैं किससे recommendation मांगू, वो भी
Hmm.
प्रिपरेशन का पार्ट है.
That is
दिस
also
इज ऑल्सो
important.
पार्ट ऑफ
It's correct.
प्रिपरेशन,
Hmm.
कि मैं किससे रिकमेंडेशन मांगू. तो अब रिकमेंडेशन लेटर मांगने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, अगेन दैट्स अ सेपरेट डिस्कशन.
Great discussion. Yeah, mostly,
ये
sir.
सब चीजें हैं.
Mostly, I think master's thesis supervisor can help in that.
वो तो एक है,
एक है.
एक से होता नहीं है ना, एटलीस्ट यू नीड थ्री. तो बाकी दो कौन होंगे.
Hmm.
आर्बिट्री देने से अच्छा है कि वेयर यू शुड फाइंड आउट अ मैकेनिज्म
Hmm.
टू
Correct.
डू दैट, राइट.
Hmm. Correct, sir.
ये तो हो गया, मतलब preparing yourself.
Hmm.
Then another, the most important preparation is which we mostly ignore for at least a PhD thing, because जब तुम यूजी का एंट्रेंस देते हो तब तो पूरा जोश शरों से मतलब प्रिपेयर करते हो.
Hmm.
एमटेक का है तो गेट के लिए जी जान लगा देते हैं. जब पीएचडी का एंट्रेंस आता है तो लोग कहते हैं यार ये तो निकाल लेंगे. ऐसा नहीं
Hmm.
है.
Yes, sir.
जिस पैशन से तुमने अपने यूजी एंट्रेंस का एग्जाम दिया था, गेट का एग्जाम भी दिया था,
Yes, sir.
उसी पैशन से तुम्हें पीएचडी का भी एंट्रेंस के एग्जाम के लिए प्रिपरेशन करना चाहिए.
Hmm.
You see, if you want to get into top-notch institutes, you have to make sure that whatever be the questions, I should clear the entrance exam.
Hmm.
So उसके लिए प्रिपरेशन नॉट ओनली फॉर द रिटेन, क्योंकि हर एक इंस्टीट्यूट का सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस अलग होता है.
Yes, sir.
किसी का रिटर्न होता है फॉलोड बाय इंटरव्यू, किसी का सिर्फ इंटरव्यू होता है, तो इट वेरीज.
Hmm. Correct, correct.
तो ये सब चीजें का भी जरूरत है कि यू प्रिपेयर फॉर योर एंट्रेंस एग्जाम ऑल्सो.
Yes, sir.
एंड देन जब हो गया सिलेक्शन, देन यू ऑल्सो नीड टू say another thing is you also keep yourself updated with the वो नोटिफिकेशन का. अभी तो ऑनलाइन में सब कुछ आ जाता है,
Ah, yes.
बट यू शुड ऑल्सो कीप एन आई कि अच्छा इसका नोटिफिकेशन, क्योंकि साल में 2 बार एंट्रेंस होता है.
Yes, sir.
तो जुलाई राउंड के लिए नोटिफिकेशन कब आएगा, फिर इसका डेडलाइन कब है, दिसंबर के लिए कब आएगा, उसका डेडलाइन कब है. तो यू हैव टू कीप ऑल दिस डेट्स इन माइंड कि अच्छा अरे यार अभी अक्टूबर आ गया तो अभी इस इंस्टीट्यूट का नोटिफिकेशन निकलेगा,
Hmm.
तो मुझे प्रिपेयर सारा डॉक्यूमेंट
Yeah.
रेडी करके रखना है, क्योंकि एप्लीकेशन में अगर गलती हो गई तो एप्लीकेशन तो कोई देखेगा ही नहीं.
दिखेगा. Yes, sir.
तो इसीलिए ये सारे चीजें जो है इम्पोर्टेंट है फॉर यू टू प्रिपेयर, कि मैं जब तैयारी कर रहा हूँ
Hmm.
पीएचडी के लिए आईआईटी में,
Hmm.
तो आई शुड बी वेल प्रिपेयर्ड इन सेंस दैट अगर मैं 4 जगह पे एंट्रेंस दे रहा हूँ, आई
Hmm.
शुड गेट कॉल फ्रॉम ऑल 4.
Yes, sir. So, sir, talking about the written examination, so can we say that as you have mentioned that every institute has its own way of taking the entrance examination, but mostly I have seen that mostly written examinations are there in most of the institutes. Uh, I'm not taking only IITs. I'm talking about like NITs and triple ITs as well. But so can we say that preparing or having a good preparing for the gate examination or having a good knowledge of the core subjects of your branch, then it will be easy for us to crack the written examination.
See, again, you have to have an idea or discuss with the organizing institute what is the syllabus. See, you have to be very
Hmm.
clear about it. People may talk a lot, but try to get the first-hand information. Send an email, because if for every advertisement there is
Hmm.
a link available, you try to contact them and try to understand what is going to be the type of entrance exam. I
Hmm.
mean, see, subject knowledge, gate knowledge, if you have, that is very good. but the entrance exam may also involve something else. You don't know.
Correct.
You have assumed that it is about gate, right?
Hmm.
So it has to be in black and white. We cannot assume things.
Hmm. Correct.
We have to get a clear cut idea about, because see, I am preparing for it, right? I cannot prepare on assumption. If you
Hmm.
look at gate exam, when you are appearing for a gate exam, there is a printed syllabus which talks about the topics and subtopics, right? I know
Yes.
what to prepare.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So when that's what I'm saying, that when we are appearing or preparing ourselves for a PhD entrance exam, we should also get a clear cut idea what is their expectation out of me. And that
Hmm.
expectation may vary from institute to institute.
Correct.
So I should be preparing accordingly. Say, for example, some may ask for objective type questions. Some may ask for descriptive also.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
but the syllabus can be the same, but the exam type can be different.
Fine.
Some may
Hmm.
ask, okay, online is possible. Some may ask, no, physically you have to come and give the exam. So
Hmm.
you have to have a black and white idea about what is the expectation and prepare accordingly. That is my understanding. We cannot
And
assume things.
you said it right, sir. I will. I want to mention that I have given entrance exam at IIT Jodhpur only 3 times. I tried 3 times. In the third attempt, I got admission, and every time the written examination was different. Every time. When I appeared first time, it was only in the written examination. There were only two questions. That was research based. There was a scenario, and we had to give a solution for it. Case study kind of. And in the attempt when I cleared the exam, it was a gate pattern. And like for example, in if I have to mention the triple IT Allahabad because I've given there too, they are taking they used to take programming examination. They give some data structure problems related to data structures, and they ask us to code and solve the problem. And code has to have to be complete. Like so that is different. Yes. So you said
So
it
that's what
correctly.
you need
Hmm.
to be. You need to be very clear about it. We cannot make
Hmm.
assumption and go ahead. You have.
Hmm.
It has to be very clear, well communicated. And if
Hmm.
that clarity is not there,
Hmm.
then probably you can. Then a generic type of preparation you can make.
Hmm. Correct. Correct. So, sir, my last question of today's discussion is what an aspirant should look for. One, college, or second is the lab or supervisor. I mean, in like as a whole. Because like we were discussing about the written examination right now just before we were agree that every institute has its own way of taking the written examination. So will that be good for an aspirant that first he or she should decide his most suitable lab or supervisor or institute so that he or she can target that institute examination pattern and other uh, entrance examination related things.
It's a very good question. So my answer to it is on the premise that I want to appear for the exam. Now, should I apply for all institute and make a random choice, or how should I decide?
Hmm.
Even
Hmm.
after I get say multiple offers,
Correct.
what institute should I choose? I am taking the question in that spirit. Okay.
Yes, sir, yes.
One is before I get offers.
Hmm.
Second part is once I get say multiple offers, which institute should I choose to do my PhD?
Hmm.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
I'm trying to touch upon both the aspects. See, first thing is obviously when you are looking for an institute, like you want to decide which college or university is the best fit for
Hmm.
pursuing your PhD. Since we are passionate about doing the research, what are the opportunities
Hmm.
that we will get? And what is the faculty expertise? Because when you are going to choose a particular faculty member to do your PhD, that will also play an important role. Because in the beginning also we have talked about this point that during our preparation,
Hmm.
we should also do the research about the faculty, potential supervisor. You
Hmm.
remember what this is a particular term we talked about, right? Potential supervisor. Another aspect of it is the reputation and ranking of the institute. Because now, if you see across the countries, NIRF ranking is
Hmm.
there,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? And that also relates to the reputation.
Hmm.
Now, this is not only applicable for IIT, right? I mean, if someone is going to watch your video, let's say, who wants to pursue in say IIMs or say any other universities,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yes,
The
sir. Yes, sir.
reputation of the institute is very, very important,
Very important. Correct.
right? Because in one side, one can say that ranking is just a number.
Hmm.
Uh, Student who are doing PhD from X institute and which is at a very high rank and doing a Y institute which is not so high, but
Hmm.
one can do better. Those debates will be there, but
Hmm.
in general, right?
Hmm.
Because it shows the academic standing, the research
Hmm.
output, overall
Hmm.
quality of the institute.
Hmm.
Because that is also linked to the facilities and the resources available with the institute,
Hmm. Yes, sir. Very, very correct. Yes, sir.
right?
Correct.
Because the laboratories, your libraries, computing infrastructure, if you are doing research in a specialized area, because in your area, let's say in electrical, I mean, some of the research area requires very specific equipments, right?
Hmm. Yes, sir. Correct.
In computer science, also, in some cases, they need maybe collaboration as well, right?
Correct.
With a highly reputed institute, other institute also would like to collaborate. So that also increases your opportunity, your what to say, the way you are going to do research, your
Hmm.
future also.
Hmm. Even the broad
So
thinking towards the research area is also get impacted
absolutely, absolutely,
by the place and the environment where you are.
absolutely.
यस सर मतलब
So another again,
अगर मैं
बोलो बोलो.
अगर थोड़ा रॉ बोले इसको थोड़ा रॉ भाषा में तो ये डिबेट तो आपने बिल्कुल भी सही कहा आई एम 100% एग्री विद यू कि कोई कितना भी कहे ये चीज एक इंस्टीट्यूट की जो वैल्यू होती है ओवरऑल जो एक सोशल परसेप्शन होता है
Hmm,
जो कि
hmm, hmm.
जो कि उस इंस्टीट्यूट ने काफी सालों की मेहनत से बनाया होता है दैट इम्पैक्ट्स अ
Absolutely.
लॉट इन द रिज्यूमे इसका
Hmm.
लाइक वो बात सही है कि ये एक डिबेट है कि मतलब वो तो बात सही है कि कोई कहीं से भी अच्छी रिसर्च कर सकता है दैट इज another point of discussion but when you apply somewhere when you apply for fellowships when you apply for
Hmm.
internships जो जो फेलोशिप फॉरेन फेलोशिप्स होती हैं जो कि पीएचडी इंटर्नशिप्स प्रोवाइड करती हैं लाइक यूएसआईटी है यूएस की एक इंटर्नशिप फेलोशिप है जो कि इन बिटवीन पीएचडी आप जा सकते हैं यूएस सो उस जगह पे फिर आपको पता लगता है कि एक इंस्टीट्यूट की रेपुटेशन का क्या वैल्यू होता है यस सर
Absolutely. No doubt
एंड यू
about
एंड द अबाउट द कोलेबरेशन एज वेल जब व्हेन आप जैसा आपने बोला व्हेन यू गो फॉर अ कोलेबरेशन फॉर asking some other reputed labs to review your work and give some important inputs for as a collaborative work so उस टाइम पर भी ये चीज इम्पैक्ट तो करती दैट इज 100% ट्रू सर आई
it. वो तो है, वो
यस
तो है.
सर
क्योंकि that will also lead to funding and scholarships. See, अगर if you are in a say an institute which is quite established, which has a lot of funding, then तुम्हारे रिसर्च के लिए भी, क्योंकि पीएचडी स्टूडेंट का काम सिर्फ अपने लैब पे बैठ के पेपर पब्लिश करना नहीं है.
यस
सो
सर
से
करेक्ट
कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए यू नीड फंडिंग.
करेक्ट
Now, if the institute is providing enough fund for you to at least say go to one international conference and then maybe national conferences within the country, so that gives you a lot of exposure,
यस सर
right? which is absolutely necessary for any PhD student.
Any PhD. Yes, sir. Correct.
So that is something is important. And then also you should ऐसे मैंने प्रिपरेशन के पार्ट में ही बताया था वो चीज कि while you are searching for a potential
Supervisor.
supervisor, you should probably also search that अगर मैं ये लैब ज्वाइन करता तो इस लैब से जो भी स्टूडेंट ग्रेजुएट किए हैं वो आज के डेट पे कहाँ है,
Alumni history. Yes, sir.
एलुमनाई,
Correct, sir.
तो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्योंकि अगर तुम ये देखो कि अच्छा इफ आई वर्क विद दिस सुपरवाइजर इन दिस लैब, नाउ 8 out of 10 students graduated, PhD students graduated out of this lab are either into industry or into some very top-notch institute as a faculty member, or they have done something on their own.
Yes, sir.
So if the particular lab or the institute or the department, let's say, has produced PhD students who have kind of established themselves in the society in a reputed place.
Reputed place.
So you would like to also be part of इस इंस्टीट्यूट से देखो PhD स्टूडेंट को आइदर IIT के फैकल्टी हैं या रिप्यूटेड प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज में हैं या बाहर हैं या इंडस्ट्री में कहीं अच्छे इंडस्ट्री में है. तो आई थिंक दैट इज काइंड ऑफ अट्रैक्ट अ पर्टिकुलर स्टूडेंट, और कि अच्छा यार हमें तो इस इंस्टीट्यूट में जाना है क्योंकि यहाँ से जो भी निकलता है
Yes, sir.
कुछ ना कुछ तो करता है.
And it should be. मतलब ऐसा होना भी चाहिए. Why not to
Absolutely.
think like that? Yes, sir. Correct. Yes, sir.
क्योंकि तुम्हें अल्टीमेटली आफ्टर सी वंस यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर अ PhD, at the same time you are also thinking about post PhD, right?
Yes, sir.
जब तुम PhD के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो तब तुम ये भी सोच रहे हो कि PhD के बाद क्या करेंगे. अगर तुम ये
Yes.
सोचो कि ठीक है PhD में आ गए थोड़ा सा शांति रखो फिर देखेंगे, then it's a
Yes, sir.
different thought process, right?
Yeah, that is
Good
one
or
of the
bad,
mistakes. Yes, sir.
it's a different story, but it's a different one way of thinking. But if you are aware that हाँ मैं यहाँ पे PhD करने के बाद I see myself. So again that relates to the first question, how you see yourself. Should I do PhD? क्योंकि अगर मैं अपने आप को जैसा देखना चाहता हूँ उसके लिए PhD जरूरी नहीं है, तो I should not be doing PhD. So that was your first question, right? Should I do PhD?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
तो आप अभी ये तीसरे सवाल में आके हम ये डिसाइड कर चुके हैं कि हमें PhD करना है. तो अगर हमें करना है तो मैं आई शुड ऑल्सो थिंक इस इन सालों के बाद 3 साल 4 साल 5 साल कितना भी टाइम लगे उसके बाद मैं अपने आप को कहाँ देखना चाहता हूँ.
Correct.
दैट काइंड ऑफ मोटिवेट्स यू. क्योंकि आई use a term called in a different context called satsang. कि जब तुम देखोगे कि अपने चारों तरफ जो लोग हैं that will motivate you, right? And you also want to be that kind of sangat.
Yes, sir.
You want to be that surrounding. कि मैं भी उनके साथ अगर रहा तो कुछ ना कुछ तो मेरा भी हो
जाएगा. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even I remember when I was doing the course under you. I went to your office and I just casually asked you, sir, कि after PhD सर job लगेगी कि नहीं. And you saw me like अभी 2 दिन तुम्हें आए नहीं हुए and you are asking for the job. So you answered my question that just focus on doing good PhD. बाकी IIT में हो, मतलब अगर IIT में PhD अच्छी से करने के बाद भी जॉब नहीं लगा तो मतलब क्या मजाक चल रहा है यहाँ पे.
So that is the same thing, right? I mean,
Yes,
you
sir.
should not be worried about it.
Yes, sir.
Right? Your
Yes, sir.
focus should be in a way that these things happen by default.
By default, while building yourself like the way other your alumni history and your other alumni and
Absolutely.
colleagues have built their, yes, sir, build their career. Yes, sir. Correct, correct. That is really
Another
true.
important factor that one should see, ये तो हो गया कि आई मीन प्रोफेशनल एंगल से कि क्या करना चाहिए, बट ultimately when you are choosing an institute, I mean one should also not forget about the personal factors, right? कि
Hmm.
कुछ भी हो जाए, हम अपने लोग जो हम खुद and the people surrounding us, we cannot abandon them कि यार मुझे तो करना है इसी इंस्टीट्यूट से, तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो अपना समझ लो, मैं तो बैग उठा के चला। ये कर नहीं सकते ना, आई मीन वी शुड नॉट बी डूइंग, कर तो सकते हैं बट एज अ ह्यूमन मिस्टिक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर देखें तो सी यू माइट बी हैविंग सम फैमिली ऑब्लिगेशंस, किसी का फाइनेंशियल कंसिडरेशन हो सकता है कि किसी को सपोर्ट करना है फैमिली के, राइट?
Hmm.
लैंग्वेज का प्रेफरेंस हो सकता है,
Yes, sir.
लाइफस्टाइल
Definitely.
के चॉइसेस हो सकते हैं कि आई वांट टू लीड माय लाइफ लाइक दिस, राइट? सो ये सब फैक्टर भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट
Hmm.
है। ओवरऑल मैं जिस इंस्टीट्यूट में ही जाऊं, आई शुड, आई मीन द इंस्टीट्यूट ऑल्सो शुड लुक, टेक गुड केयर ऑफ इट्स पीपल अराउंड, राइट? इट
Hmm.
शुड बी ओवरऑल वेलबींग। मतलब मैं एक
Hmm.
ऐसी जगह पे चला गया पीएचडी करने जो कि इंस्टीट्यूट बहुत बढ़िया है, बट मैं वहां के लोगों का भाषा ही नहीं समझता हूँ। मतलब
Hmm.
मैं अगर इंस्टीट्यूट के बाउंड्री के बाहर एक पैर रखा तो बस एक दूसरा ही दुनिया है।
Ah, correct, correct, correct.
तो दैट इज समथिंग यू शुड ऑल्सो कंसिडर
Hmm.
कि हो सकता है वहां पे जाके मुझे बहुत कुछ मिले, बट ये चीज तो नहीं मिलेगा।
Hmm. Yes, sir.
वहां पे जाके शायद इतना दूर है वो जगह कि साल में मैं एक बार ही शायद आ पाऊं या ना आ पाऊं। तो मेरा, अगर मैं एक वही बता रहा हूँ कि मैं आई मे बी एट अ सर्टेन एज, जैसा पहला सवाल था कि व्हाट इज द आइडियल टाइम,
Hmm.
आई माइट हैव डिसाइडेड टू डू पीएचडी क्वाइट लेट इन माय लाइफ।
Hmm.
ऐसा तो नहीं है सिर्फ यंग लोग ही तुम्हारा चैनल देखेंगे ना।
नहीं, नहीं,
जो पीएचडी एस्पिरेंट है
वो कोई भी हो
वो
सकता है,
शायद
डेफिनेटली।
कोई भी हो सकता है।
यस, यस।
तो उनको भी वो पार्ट होना चाहिए कि मेरा फैमिली कंसिडरेशन है, मैं जा नहीं
हम्म।
सकता दूसरी जगह,
हम्म।
तो मुझे तो इसी इंस्टीट्यूट से करना है। तो जब मैं, तो मेरा जो डोमेन है उसको मैंने छोटा कर लिया कि मुझे एबीसी के अंदर ही चूज करना है।
यस सर।
हो सकता है कि बीईएफ बहुत अच्छा इंस्टीट्यूट है, बट दैट इज, आई कैनॉट बी देयर
बी
डूइंग
देयर,
माय
यस सर।
पीएचडी,
यस सर।
सो आई हैव टू चूज फ्रॉम एबीसी। देन आई, पहले जैसे मैंने बताया कि उस एबीसी के अंदर जो भी फैक्टर्स मेरे कंडीसिव हो, आई विल डू इट।
एंड
सो
अकॉर्डिंगली आई विल टारगेट दैट इंस्टीट्यूट्स।
अकॉर्डिंग,
यस।
एब्सोल्युटली। तो वो
रिटन
फैक्टर आई
एग्जामिनेशन।
थिंक वी शुड नॉट ओवरलुक। एक तो है कि वी शुड ऑलवेज एस्पायर फॉर द बेस्ट, बट बेस्ट के बाद भी एक फैक्टर रहता है, गिवन सर्टेन कंडीशन। जैसे हम पीएचडी में जब भी कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं तो वी टुक अ प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट, देन वी मेक सर्टेन assumptions, राइट? तो ये इंस्टीट्यूट चॉइस करने में भी दिस इज आवर प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट कि वी शुड डू द पीएचडी हैविंग दिस फैक्टर विथ सर्टेन assumptions। तो वो जो assumptions हैं वो भी हमारे पास क्लियर होना चाहिए कि हाँ देखो हमें करना तो है, लेकिन ये भी फैक्टर्स हमें दिमाग में रखना चाहिए।
रखने में
तो
करेक्ट।
एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वन शुड बी हैप्पी डूइंग पीएचडी, राइट?
यस।
ऐसा नहीं है कि लैब में जा रहे हैं आ रहे हैं और घर में बैठ के सर पीट रहे हैं कि यार कहाँ आ गए,
हाँ, फंस
इतना
गए।
टेंशन है घर में, इतना टेंशन है, ये है वो है। तो बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होते हैं। तो दैट दोज थिंग्स वन शुड, so ultimately see, you should take time to decide,
हम्म।
keeping these factors which we discussed today in mind. and also talk to people जिन्होंने पीएचडी किया है ऑलरेडी,
Hmm.
क्योंकि वही तुम्हें बता पाएंगे कि पीएचडी में क्या प्लसेस है, माइनसेस है, क्या दर्द है, क्या उसमें अच्छा चीज है.
Hmm. Hmm. Even that is
एंड
why
देन
I am creating this. I have
absolutely, it's a
created
very
this
good
channel.
initiative. It's a very good initiative that you have taken, and I think people should get benefited out of this because I have gone through some of the videos. The topics you have chosen is very good. It will definitely, I hope, whoever watches these videos definitely should get benefit.
Thank you so much, sir. Even I sometimes get messages and comments uh, and request that I should create upload some videos on this topic and some other topics like related to, especially from right now I'm getting requests for creating some video for particularly for mathematics department and physics department and what are the challenges doing PhD in particularly maths, applied maths, theoretical sciences, theoretical maths. So planning for it, sir. I
Very
hope
good, very good.
I will upload those videos soon. So
Best
I
wishes from us.
thank you so much, sir. I really enjoyed our discussion today. बहुत दिनों के बाद आपसे बात हुआ and I really enjoyed and मुझे थोड़ा अपना टाइम भी याद आया when I was preparing for PhD. But अगर ये सारे बातें मुझे थोड़ा पहले पता होती so I could have done better. But anyways, जो भी हुआ है वो ठीक ही था. Yeah, so thank you so much, sir, for being here with us today and giving your important piece of time and sharing your views on this very important topic. I hope who
Thank
all
you for
are
having me here.
yes, sir, yes,
Thank
sir.
you for the invitation.
Thank you, sir. So, and I hope all who all are watching this episode will definitely get benefited, and they can after hearing you, they will definitely um they plan their PhD admission, and they can target well. And I hope they will get successful in their life as well. So, thank you so much, sir. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
thank you, sir. Bye, sir.